rahmatullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أما بعد فأوصيكم بتقوى الله، فإنه حبل متين وعروة وثقى. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Dear brothers and sisters in Iman, first of all I advise myself for taqwa, parhezgari and piety, and then I advise all of you for the same. During the Friday prayers, it's our duty to remind each other for piety and for staying on the right course and on the right path. This is one of the obligation for the Imam, and it is part of our Friday prayer khutbah. Sometime when I talk about it, I go in more details, and sometime I just say in one sentence or two to avoid the repetition. But it is very important for all of us to remain on the right path and to remain pious in our lives and be the pious servants of Allah and the pious members of our community and pious citizens of our country. From last 2 Fridays, I have taken a theme, and almost every year during the month of Muharram and Safar, I analyze this tragic event of Karbala and try to look again and again into that very tragic event which happened almost 1400 years ago, but we commemorate the tragedy of Karbala every year. Particularly in the month of Muharram and Safar, the first 2 months of Islamic calendar, we focus on understanding and then learning from it, at the same time paying tribute to those great martyrs, those great servants of God, and we honor them, we mourn them, and then we also try to learn some lessons from them. Only those 10 days of Muharram are not enough. Those 10 days are very much times of emotions. We are where emotions are very high, and mostly we spend our time in mornings. Very busy schedules, so many other things are going on. So speakers really cannot get into the in-depth analysis of the events of Karbala. Even audiences are not ready to listen to those kind of discussions. And many people, they just attend those few days with no background and with no interest of actually learning in depth. They just come to commemorate, they just come to mourn, they feel some responsibility to be part of the Farsh Aza, but more than that, they don't have any capacity or any interest or even that kind of background. So I feel that these after Ashura until Arba'een, that is the best time. And instead of again keep repeating the same thing what we did in those last 10 days, we should change a little bit mode of our discussion and try to understand what happened and why it happened. What were the causes of such a tragedy? And then who were the people who stood with the Imam and why they stood with Imam, and who were the people who went with Yazid and why they went with Yazid? And then what was the ultimate results of that happening and what were the outcomes, the impact of Karbala? And then there are some details. So these are the topics of over these Friday khutbas until the Arba'een, or maybe it will continue a few weeks after Arba'een as well. First of all, we need to understand. We need to understand Karbala. We need to understand the stand of our Imam and the stance of our leader and our Imam. The tragedy is that most of the people who call themselves followers of Imam Hussain, and they invest so much time in morning sessions and majalis and azadari and matam and everything, they don't understand. They even don't understand the stand of Imam, the objectives of Imam, the purpose of Imam. They have no idea about that. They just have heard always a few lines in speeches, and in those few lines they just express their emotions. And after 1400 years of doing this azadari and talking about Imam Hussain and crying and weeping Imam Hussain, we have not become truly the followers of Imam Hussain. Even until today, how much budget we spent, how much time, how much money, how much effort around the globe, but what is the outcome? Have we become Hussaini? Have we bought that vision of Imam Hussain? Have we committed ourselves with the mission of Imam Hussain? Or practically we are following the footsteps of Imam Hussain? Or practically we are taking distance from the people like Yazid and the governments like the governments of Yazid? The answer is no. Very few people here and there, but most of us, after coming in the majalis, crying for Imam Hussain, weeping for Imam Hussain, doing matam for Imam Hussain, giving tabarruk for Imam Hussain, we feel our duty and responsibility is done. We have done everything what we were supposed to do. And that was it. It looks like as Imam Hussain was really looking for our tears, and with great pride in Sham-e Ghariba we say, ashkon ke jaam hazir hain. Matlab, as they are waiting for these ashkon ke jaam. When did they say that ashkon ke jaam will be these what you call the glasses or cups of these tears are going to really do anything for Imam Hussain? So, number one thing what we need to understand, if you want to understand his stance and his stand, basically Imam Hussain was saying a big no. A big no to the demand of the tyrant ruler of the time, who had ascended to throne illegitimately, and he is now asking the allegiance from Imam Hussain that you put your hand in my hand and give me allegiance and accept me as a legitimate leader of this Muslim Ummah. That's what Yazid wants. What is the response of Imam Hussain? A big no. No, I am not going to recognize you as Khalifa of this Ummah. I don't agree with your disposition, and you are not going to get yes from me, and you are not going to get my hand. This is basically the whole tussle. Many of people, they think that no, Imam Hussain went right after to go and deceive Yazid, to go and fight against Yazid, to go and remove Yazid from the power. And that is why on the day of Ashura they are very much disappointed. And when you are asked that who was winner and who was defeated, then of course you say that, meaning if Imam Hussain was gone to de-seat him and to throw him out from the power and to remove him from the power, then you can determine on the day of Ashura then who is winner and who is defeated. But that is not the case. The case was that Yazid is committed to get allegiance from Hussain, and Hussain is committed to not give his allegiance to Yazid. Now at the day of Ashura, tell me, who succeeded in his way and who succeeded in his mission? Who is the victorious? Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain said no in Medina. Imam Hussain said no in Makkah. Imam Hussain said all the way no from Makkah to Karbala, from the 2nd of Muharram till the 10th day of Muharram, until his last breath, until his throat was not cut. He said, no, I am not going to give you allegiance. I am not going to recognize you. I am not going to accept you as a legitimate leader of the Muslim Ummah. So that's number one thing what we need to understand, that Imam Hussain was not someone that who went all the way from Medina to go and by force and by power remove Yazid from the throne. Otherwise, then the question comes, why the other Imams, we ask Shias to follow the path of Imam Hussein, so why other Imams didn't follow the path of Imam Hussein? Why then Imam Zainul Abidin didn't go to de-seat him? Why then Imam Muhammad Baqir didn't go to de-seat those other corrupt leaders of his time? Why Imam Sadiq didn't go? So did Imams change their policy? We believe that our Imams have the same policy from the first one until the last one. They don't change their policy. So it didn't happen that after Karbala our Imam said, oh no, that doesn't work. So our father Imam Hussein did his best, and since he didn't get support from people, so from now on we are not going to bother. That's not the case. It's not that our Imams change the policy. Actually, these leaders, these khulafa, these rulers, they change their policy. They didn't insist anymore on asking the bay'at as Yazid was asking from Imam Hussein. That changed the whole thing. But stand of our Imams remained the same. No. No to Yazid, no to son of Yazid, no to Marwan, no to the sons of Marwan, no to Banu Umayyah, no to Banu Abbas, no to all of them. So our Imams remain consistent. There is no change of policy. There is no change of heart. There is no change of strategy. Whatever position Imam Hussein had, his son Imam Sajjad had the same policy. I'm not going to give my hand in the hand of Yazid. Imam Baqir, again same thing. I'm not going to give my hand in the hand of these corrupt rulers. And same is Imam Sadiq. That's number one thing everyone should know. The fuss and the fight, again, there is no fight from the side of Imam Hussein. We all need to also understand. Sometimes we think Imam Hussein went to fight. And Imam Hussein was the one that who went for fight, or he was for fight. People don't know the history. Imam Hussein was just saying no, exercising his freedom of choice, his rights as a free citizen. He was saying, no, you are not a legitimate ruler. I am not going to recognize you. And I will say no. And that's what Imam Hussein did. But Imam Hussein, if he wanted to fight, for example, then would he go to Makkah, Al-Baladul Amin, where you cannot wage into war or into any hostility. Makkah is a city which is, you cannot have weapons, you cannot have fight, you cannot kill even a mosquito, you cannot kill a fly. So Imam Hussein is going to Makkah. Why? Imam Hussein is teaching that while he is saying no to a tyrant government, but at the same time he has a duty to save and protect his life and save and protect the life of his family and his friends. So Imam Hussein was not safe in Medina. So Imam Hussein, while he knows he is not going to put his hand in the hand of Yazid, so finally what is going to happen if he stays in Medina? Either he will be arrested and forced to do bay'at, or he will get killed. And it is his duty to remain committed on his stance, but at the same time he has to protect himself and protect his family and friends. And as he said, he has to also try to reach out to the others and create the awareness against this illegitimate ruler and illegitimate government, and to do Amr bil Maruf and Nahi Anil Munkar, And for that reason, Imam came to Makkah. Imam reached on the 3rd of Sha'ban in Makkah. He left 28th of Rajab. It was his birthday, 3rd of Sha'ban, when he reached in Makkah, within 5 days. Now, from 3rd of Sha'ban until the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, Imam is in Makkah. The whole month of Sha'ban, Ramadan, Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah until 9th day. Imam is in Makkah. He is not collecting weapons. He is not doing any guerrilla trainings. He is not into any fighting. He is not into the war activities. All what he is doing, people are asking, and he is saying, I am not going to recognize him. I am not going to stand with Yazid. I don't consider him as a legitimate, the leader of the Muslim Ummah. People are coming on daily basis to visit him. Many people would come almost on daily basis to visit him and engage in discussions with him. News is out in the entire Muslim lands that Muawiyah has passed away. Yazid is now sitting in his position. He is asking bay'at. Everybody is doing his bay'at, but Hussein ibn Ali and a few other people are still resisting, and they are not doing the bay'at, and they are in Makkah. Now, this news comes in Iraq. This khutbah doesn't give me enough time in the Friday that I can get into all the details, but Iraq and Syria were in hostile relationships from so many decades. They had a very bitter history with each other. The Syria was torturing the people of Iraq and discriminating the people of Iraq. And Iraqis were not happy with this leadership of Yazid and his father Muawiyah. So when they heard, it was a nightmare for them to see Yazid coming and in the government. So they started sending letters to Imam Hussein and inviting him, and they said, sir, you come here, we don't feel safe, you are not safe there, because anything can happen with you over there. So please come and join us here, at least we are all together. We don't have a leader because we don't recognize him, so you be our leader in Iraq. We will support you and we will also protect you. But Imam Hussein is still in Makkah until he receives a credible news that Yazid has sent soldiers in the disguise of pilgrimages, and these people are here at the mission who are going to assassinate Imam Hussein in Haram. And he is not safe anymore. He had come here for safety. He had come here to save himself and protect himself and stand on his position. So either he would get arrested here and they will take him by force to Syria, or they will kill him. This was not a scenario which Imam liked. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, now either he has to get killed in Haram and to violate this sanctity of Haram, or he has an offer from Iraq where so many people want him to be there, and Imam knows that as Imam doesn't like the people of this government of Syria, these Iraqis are also, they don't like the government of Syria, and they are inviting me. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, with the same stance, no, he comes to Iraq. On his way to Kufa, so he is confronted with the army of Yazid. They almost arrested him in a way, because they stopped his way to the Kufa. They say, sir, you cannot go to the Kufa. We are ordered to arrest you. And Imam said, no one can arrest me. If you are going to arrest me, then basically you are going to arrest my dead body, on my dead body. So then they found a formula that yes, Imam is not going to Kufa and he is not going to arrest Imam, and Imam will take a third route which was going nowhere until he gets the new orders from his governor. So Imam, at that time this was not a route which Imam took, for example, from that place to Karbala. It was nowhere. He goes there, and on the 2nd of Muharram, the new orders came that wherever now you folks are, bring him down, don't let him go anywhere, make him either make bayat or to just cut his head, cut his throat, and just send me back. This happened on 2nd of Muharram. Now Imam is faced with either do bayat and say yes to Yazid or to get killed. Imam didn't change his position, and he was just surrounded. It took about until this 9th day, or meaning about a week, that Ibn Ziyad kept sending more and more and more army, and finally on the day of Ashura, the numbers of the army of government reached to, according to most credible narration, their number was about 30,000. 30,000 professional soldiers, fully equipped, while Imam and his soldiers, the numbers, most known numbers, most common narration is 72 people, from very young to the very old. But according to authentic riwayat, number was around 150 altogether, counting from very young to the old. So it was approximate. But again, it does not make any difference. Whether it is 72, whether it is 140, whether it is 150. What difference it makes when you compare it with at least 30,000 people. Imam is surrounded, and again, either you have to give allegiance or we will kill you. That's the first. And Imam is saying, I am not going to give you allegiance. At the 10th day of Muharram, finally what happens? They wage the war against him. Imam avoided the war in Medina. Imam avoided the war in Makkah. He avoided the war all the way from Makkah to Karbala. He avoided the war from the 2nd day of Muharram until the 10th day of Muharram. Even on the 10th day of Muharram, Imam avoided the war until he could. And he was talking and speaking and giving a sermon after sermon and telling them, don't rush to start. Don't hasten. So Imam was not there to fight. Imam didn't go to fight. So don't blame him that why, when he had so few people, he went to fight with a army of 30,000 people. Don't blame him that why the other people have so much and you have so little. Imam didn't go to fight. Imam is just trying to remain on his stance. Resistance. I am saying no. I am not going to recognize you no matter how many you are. I am not going to recognize you no matter how powerful you are. I am not going to recognize you regardless how strong you are. And I am not going to recognize you even if I know you will kill me. And all the people around will get killed. But I am not going to recognize. So that is the position of Imam Hussain. Later governments didn't create this kind of scenario for the next Imams. They learned the lesson in Karbala. The Karbala was enough for them. They know that these people, they don't. Now this stance of Imam Hussein is not a new stance. This was the stance of his older brother Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba. And this was, recite Salawat. And that was the stance of his father, Imam Ali. Imam Ali was also only saying no. When these other people came after the Prophet and became Khalifa, Imam Ali, what did Imam Ali do? Until today, people were, why Imam Ali didn't take his sword? Why he didn't go and fight? Why he didn't want to throw them out? Imam Ali didn't use that. Imam Hassan didn't do that. Imam Hussein was also consistent with the policy of his brother and with his father. Only no. Peacefully saying no. We are not going to recognize you. We are not going to accept you. My brothers and sisters, this no for shallow people is something very little. They are not satisfied with only this. They say, no, you have to bring the sword out and you have to fight and then you have to do this. But this simple no to tyrant and illegitimate regimes is not something little and light. It's not little and light. To their arrogance, to their power, only a few people dare to say no to us, and you don't join us, and you don't bend in front of us. So, what happens? Our madhab, our faith, I just want to tell you your identity, your faith, your community, the Shia faith is basically from the day one, it is a community of resistance. We resisted against the first one 1400 years ago. We resisted against the second one. We resisted against the third one. We resisted against the fourth one. We resisted against fifth one, Yazid. We resisted against all of them, all Banu Umayyah, all Banu Abbas, all the tyrants. And we are the people who are known as the people of resistance even today. Even today, we are the people who are known for people of resistance. And this resistance is not something which we have adopted today. This has been our identity. This has been our history. Our Imams, from Imam Ali to Imam Hassan to Imam Hussein, all the Imams and all our ancestors, we always resisted to illegitimate regimes. We always resisted against every tyrant ruler. And we have been always martyred and we have been always killed. If we have to take or lift a dead body today, this is not the first dead body what we are lifting today. We have been lifting the dead bodies from 1400 years ago. From 1400 years ago. We lifted the body of that great lady of light, Fatima Zahra Salamullah alayha. We lifted the dead body of the best man on the earth after Prophet Ali ibn Abi Talib. We lifted the dead body of the best man on the earth in his time, Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba. And we lifted the best bodies of best people on the planet on the 10th day of Karbala, on the 10th day of Muharram. Meaning, is it new for us? Is it new? Can words scare us? Can someone scare us by shooting, by killing? or by blasting a bomb, or by throwing a missile, or killing or murdering someone? Can you scare? This is our history. We have been always killed, we have been always bombed, and we have been always martyred. And one goes, the second comes in his position right away, and then he goes and somebody else comes again on his place. 1400 years. How naive they are, how ignorant they are. They know everything about even every species of animals and insects, but they don't know the history of the Shia faith. They have PhDs on mosquitoes, and PhDs on the flies, and PhDs on the frogs, and PhDs on all these insects and scientists, but they don't know the history of Shia faith. Baba, we are living from last 1400 years. So my brothers and sisters, I just wanted to, to educate you. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Yes, when we lose members of our community, we mourn. We are human beings, but we never become weak. We never become weak. We always keep this flag up. And then also, we are not the violent people. We are not for violence. We are not like those people who are blasting the bombs, or those who are creating so much mischief in the world. We are peace-loving people. We only say no. That's all what we do. But this our no is something which is very heavy for them, against their arrogance, against their power. They think that since they are too powerful, that we even cannot say no to them. So my brothers and sisters, don't blame the victims. Don't find faults with those who are trying their best to keep it up and to stand on the stand of our imams. And this is impact of our shahadat and our faith of tashayyu, that even many of these our Sunni brothers in Palestine and certain other places, they are standing up for their rights, and they have learned this no from us. So our ideology, our values are spreading, and people are buying it, and people are standing, and we need to take pride that we are, even after 1400 years, we are holding the flag of Abul Fazl al-Abbas, holding the flag of Imam Hussein, holding the flag of Imam Ali, holding the flag of Anbiya, holding the flag of Awliya. And then if for holding that flag, if we get killed, there is no honor, better and higher honor from them. Recite Salam. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين فاطمة الزهراء وعلى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة وعلى علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان وعلى آبائه الكرام اتصل الليالي والأيام. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى: إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله.